Hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia and today I'm going to be doing my Reading Rush TBR. For the challenge of reading a book with purple on the cover, I'm going to be reading The Babysitter's Coven, and this is an e-arc that I have from NetGalley. This is supposed to be like Adventures in Babysitting meets like Hocus Pocus-y kind of. I'm trying to think of like another witch kind of story, but you get the idea. Then for the challenge of reading a book and staying in the same spot, I'm going to be reading Teen Angst Nah by Ned Vizzini. This is a quasi-autobiography, and I figured since this one is about 250 pages and it has pretty big font that I won't get too antsy while staying in the same spot to read one book. As for the challenge of reading a book that was on your TBR for last year, or that was, you know, a book that you didn't get to last year is what I meant to say, I'm going to be reading Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. This has been on many TBR, and it was actually on my Booktubeathon TBR last year, and it was the book that I sadly did not get to. This is a sapphic romance set in Los Angeles about a girl filmmaker, and I'm very excited to finally get this off of my TBR and finally read it because I have been very excited about it for a long time. I just haven't picked it up yet. Next up, to read a debut, I'm going to be reading Wicked Like a Wildfire, and this is by Lana Popovic. This is a magical realism, and it's about an ability to gleam or like make things more beautiful, kind of like to transfigure. I'm very excited about this. I have heard nothing about this, and it is a duology, and this is the author's obviously debut. Yeah, I really don't know much about this, but I'm oddly really excited even though I know nothing about it. Then for a book with a non-human main character, I'm going to be reading This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This features a kind of monster kind of character. I really don't know too much about it, but I know that it also talks a lot about music. Not too great with a synopsis on this one, I'm sorry. But it's Victoria Schwab. I've never read a Victoria Schwab book, but I know that all of hers are a great place to start, so I can't wait to read this one. Then for the challenge of reading a book with exactly 5 words in the title, I'm going to be reading Ghost from the Shadow Market, and this is by Cassandra Clare and all of her author friends. This I am so excited to read. This is all stories about the shadow market, obviously, in the Shadowhunter world, and it's centering around Jem Carstairs, and fuck me. I have just been needing some Shadowhunter goodness, and I have been telling myself that I cannot read like other Shadowhunter books that I own, which I have a couple unread up here, until I get this one done. So I'm super excited. I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobook, and that's how I've been reading most of the Shadowhunter books, and I'm just like unbelievably excited for this collection of short stories. Lastly is to read a book with a movie adaptation. I couldn't find any on my unread bookshelves, but I decided to kind of stretch it a little bit. I hope y'all are okay with it, but I have decided to read Moxie by Jennifer Mathieu. This is actually getting turned into a mini-series, so I figured it was kind of close, and I really just don't have any books that are getting turned into movies on my TBR, and I am trying to read books of my TBR. It's about like a small town rising up with like a girl group being like really cool and fighting against oppression, I think. Anyway guys, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you are participating in the reading rush, and if you are not, what the heck are you doing? Please participate. I highly recommend that you do so. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!